Welcome back to another episode of Solidworks tutorials. Okay, so we are working on PJ05, the pivot holder. And there is quite a few steps with this, so go ahead and turn on all your planes. Actually, you won't need your top plane just yet. Or will you? Let's turn them all on. So your first step is to do the box. So front plane and normal 2. And you're going to be doing an extruded boss base. We're going to do a center rectangle. Make sure it's the center one and not a corner. And we'll go from the center here and just kind of draw it out. Hit escape. And one side of this is 4 inches. And the trick we will do here, so that we don't have to give 2 dimensions, so we'll say add relation and set that one and that one to be equal. And then that way you only have to change the dimension on one side. You don't have to, it's a square, so you don't have to manipulate too many dimensions. You want to add the circle in the middle, and the dimension of that is 3. Okay, so here's where it gets a little tricky. You want to work on that little funny extrusion thing. So what you want to do is start from the box. So take the point and draw up. Make sure you're not doing the bend. Draw up. Come on. Draw up, please. Thank you. And draw over. And draw back down. Okay, so what we've done here is we've drawn kind of a sketch for the moment. What you want to do is trim entities and power trim, and you'll power trim that. But then you'll draw a for construction line to close that back to your reference. So this is now for reference. So we know the thickness of this is 0.75. Bring that over there. We don't know the width of this yet, so you'll hold off on that for the moment. You could do it the way, okay, so this is a little tricky. You could do it the way I broke it down. So the way I looked at it was, this box is 4 inches wide. So we know we have at least a half of that. So that's 2 inches up to here. And then you have to have, there's going to be a circle right here, and it's 1/2 inch in diameter. So if you have a radius like that fillet that's shown in his drawing there, it shows like a concentric fillet to the circle. So if you have a 1/2 inch diameter circle, you need to start your circle from the edge of that circle to get the fillet that you need. So I'll show that in a little bit here, but we'll just keep going with the rest of this. So we've got another line up and over, and then see, I like to do it in like steps like that, so that we can measure things out correctly. Okay, so what we want to do next is another trim entity. Slice that one. Hit OK. For construction line. You'll just sketch that down and then convert this one for construction. And then now we can set the dimension of this guy here. Actually, you know, there's a better way to do this. We can say add relation, and we know those two are going to always be equal. So that way you don't even have to touch that. What's going on with this point right here? That point should always be horizontal with that line. Except that's not really showing it. Oh, I know what's wrong. We need to draw another for construction line right here. So that will fix the corner piece. Okay, so again, we don't really know where these are going to be placed. They just need to go somewhere below the axis of, you know, this plane. It goes down a little bit further. This plane, it goes a little bit over. And then that's it. So you hit the sketch, and we will do mid plane, and we're at 1 inch wide. And there's our sketch. If you want to do normal 2, just to see what it looks like. The next step we're going to use, there's the isometric. The next step, we want to sketch on the top one, so we no longer need the top plane for now. And click on that surface and hit normal 2. And this is where you'll do your next sketch, and just do a sketch at this point. Don't bother with the extruded cuts just yet. You can add that feature later. So we just want to take from that spot right there a circle. We'll give it a dimension of 1/2 inch. Okay. Okay, so we've got the circle drawn at 1/2 inch. And then you'll just exit out of the sketch, and you'll go and create a new sketch, reference the top surface, and you'll use center point arc. Go to the center of, you know, where the two axes meet. It's the center of the circle, and you'll get it to go to the edge of the drawing, and then make sure it goes to the edge of that. It should have. Let me make sure that add to relation here. Coincident, yeah. So make sure that it's locked in place and it doesn't want to go anywhere. And then you want to close that in like so. So now it's enclosed, and we just need to make sure that that's concentric. And it's important that you do this in 2 different sketches. If you try to do this in one sketch, it'll break things. And then you just exit out of that. And then go back to your first sketch, the circle, and we'll do an extruded cut. And we'll just say up to next and hit the check. That should go all the way through. You can see it. And then the next step is this sketch for the fillet. I don't know why it moved it. Okay, the order kind of does matter. I just kind of like to have the order of operations in order. So you just hit, select the sketch. We're going to do another extruded cut. And here's where it gets a little tricky. So what you want to do is, you see how it's cutting right now. It's going to remove a giant chunk, but you don't want to remove the shape. You want to remove only like the outside feature. So what you want to do is click down to selected contours, and you'll see that the contour of the part is already selected. And see, if you start hovering over faces, they change colors, and this tells it, where you want to do the cut. So you want to do the cut right there, and you want to make sure that the depth is 0.75 so that it doesn't go too far, and it'll remove just that. Then you just hit OK, and there's your radius. Okay. So, knowing what we just did here, we have to repeat that on this side. So we will need the top plane again, and we'll need the front plane. We no longer need the right plane, so you can turn that one off. And then you come to that face right there and say normal to, and we'll still need it selected so we can make our sketch. So our first sketch is our circle. So make sure you start at the center there, and we'll set dimension here. Come on. The dimension is 0.5, and then hit the check. And then we'll make a second sketch. Select the face again, and say sketch, and we'll do a center point arc. Start at the center, and go out, and draw it. And make sure all these tangents, or these coincidences are showing up, so it locks it in place. And then draw a line across to close in the part. And then from here, we will hit the check, and we're set on this part. But if you notice here, our sketch is like incomplete. It's kind of difficult to see, but the circle here is it's not gonna be a perfect fillet. There's gonna be a line right here. So you want to extend this face out, and that's what I was saying from the original sketch, that we wouldn't know exactly until we figure this part out. So you go back to your original boss extrude and click edit sketch, and we'll just normal to, and see, this is where the lengths come in. So if you want to look at it, we've got, it's from that imaginary line right there where for the box to the end, and we'll say 2.5. And then likewise, we can say add relation, and just the line, not the other piece, and this one, and say equal. And that should have given us the little bit that we needed down here for the cutaway for the fillet. So just go ahead and hit the checkout again. Shouldn't have changed anything there. And see, now you can see that it's going to cut the fillet correctly. So we'll go ahead and sketch, extruded cut, and up to next, and hit the check. And then again, it's putting it out of order. This one's sketch, extruded cut, selected contours, and come in here and select these two faces, and just make sure that the depth is correct, so it's 0.75, and hit the check, and there's your round, and it looks just like model. I think he's using one of these views. Yeah, it's either trimetric or isometric. It's something like that. But it looks just like his sketch. Wait, except, no, wait a minute. There is an error here, so we got to go back to, okay, it's not either of these two, it's one of these two sketches. It's extrude number 2. So why did you, let's edit the sketch and go back in. I see what's going on. So we have to edit the extrude. So edit feature. I think when we change the dimension of the length of this, what we're removing is not correct. So you want to make sure you've got both of the corners selected. It'll show right here, region 1 and region 2. We need to make sure we have both corners selected and hit OK. Now the cut is showing correctly. Okay. So now we have our part, and next we need to set the material. You want to click on material and edit material, and you'll get this view right here. And you'll want to scroll down until you find 6061 alloy, and then you'll hit apply and close. So now we've got our part in 6061 alloy. It's completed. The dimensions have all been verified, and we want to get the mass and volume of the part. You'll go to evaluate, and you'll click on mass properties. So when you click on mass properties, now the mass and the volume appear, and you can see that the mass here is 1.23 pounds and the volume is 12.59 cubic inches. And that's all there is for this assignment. Thanks for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe for more content.